Mr. Senator Michael, we have seen a surprise development. Of course, a new groundbreaking by Biafra agitators. Talking about the submission of letter formally to Hague Convention in Netherlands. Of course, I will allow our viewers to watch this video how it happened. But ultimately, this will position Biafra as a sovereign nation to legitimately engage with other countries, whether in terms of conflict resolution, whether in terms of maritime engagement. Let us allow our viewers to watch this all-important development, which I'll come back to further this conversation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the press, distinguished members of the press, representatives of the international community, and observers around the world. Today, on behalf of the sovereign authority of the United States of Biafra, I have formally submitted in person the official instruments relating to our accession to the Convention for the Pacific Settlement of International Disputes. These documents were previously transmitted digitally in accordance with established communication channels. Today, physically delivering to the competent authority in The Hague serves as the primary sovereign feeling and affirms our commitment to transparency, legality, and the international procedure. The submission has been delivered to the relevant treaty body of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, including the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Netherlands, in its capacity as depository of the 1907 Hague Convention. Courtesy copies and notices have also been prepared for the International Court of Justice and the United Nations Office of Legal Affairs, in alliance with the international legal procedure. The United States of Biafra accession to the Convention of the Pacific Settlement of International Disputes reflects our clear and unwavering position. We are committed to the peaceful resolution of disputes. We are committed to the international laws. We are committed to the lawful engagement within the community of nations. Our action today is not symbolic. It is procedural, deliberate, and grounded in the principle of sovereign equality and peaceful settlement as recognized under the international law. By acceding to this convention, the United States of Biafra affirms its readiness to resolve international matters through arbitration, judicial settlement, and other peaceful means provided under the Hague framework. This step demonstrates responsible state conduct and our alignment with the civilized mechanism established for the maintenance of international order. Let it be clear stated, this feeling stands as formal notice to the international community that the United States of Biafra has taken concrete legal steps to participate in established instruments for peaceful dispute resolution. We call upon all relevant authorities to discharge their responsibilities in accordance with international laws and established treaty procedures. The United States of Biafra remain open to constructive engagement dialogue and lawful processes that advance peace, dignity, and justice for our people. Thank you, and may God bless the United States of Biafra.
All
hail Biafra.
Biafra. All hail United States of Biafra.
All hail United States of Biafra.
Mr. Senator Michael, how about you know yourself? What does it mean for Biafra struggle and sovereignty?
We know the importance of Hague
in the world. This is a nation that houses over 100 powerful international organizations in the world. It is also known as the Dutch Kingdom, one of the ancient kingdoms in the world. And also, they have granted Biafran access to engage and be part of treaties and conventions that took place in if I can remember, in 1907, yeah, and be part of international engagement and diplomatic, relations. That is one of the main purpose. Though it has other areas that we'll also discuss on in this interview. But let us look at it from, the perspective that the Biafra movement has been granted, or the Biafra nation has been granted, or the Biafran sovereignty have been granted with access to this country that houses over 100 international organizations, including the International Court of Justice. I don't want to start mentioning other, organizations that are being housed by the Hague, which is the kingdom of the Netherlands. That is the Dutch, people call it the Dutch kingdom, So this is where they are domiciled. This is where those countries are domiciled. And for them to have opened the doors and accept the responsibility of instrument of Biafra being presented and was allowed to have access to over 100 organizations regarding the presence and sovereignty of Biafra. There's a lot of things that that will trigger a lot of celebration in that regard. Yes.
Now, some people have argued that the same way every country that is a signatory to this Hague Convention of 1907 have mutual respect for all the member countries that subscribe to this. The same sort of respect will be ascribed to Biafra going forward. Let me get that.
Of course, it means that the Biafra is definitely going to have a very smooth takeoff, a very good, relationship, and it will be a constitutional nation recognized by international organizations. And as one of the most recognized nation for now, most of these things are being talked about, especially our relation with other countries in terms of using airspace, in terms of boundaries, in terms of territorial waters, in terms of access to the sea, in terms of security. So they are officially presented for a lot of people who does not understand the reason why we have been given access in the Kingdom of Dutch. Biafra has been given access in the Kingdom of Dutch that houses so many organizations, and even our presence in Hague, tells the world that we are going to have a very good relationship with the international law. We are also going to have a good relationship with the international community. We are going to enjoy, we Biafrans are also going to enjoy international support amidst conflict resolutions.
Now, some people have equally argued that with these developments, that it now places Biafra as a sovereign state to become a legal entity before International Court of Justice, saying that they can as well institute actions against any nation on International Criminal Court of Justice.
Of course.
What does this advantage bring to the table?
Of course, that's why I said Biafra is going to have a smooth takeoff. And if in the course of trying to create boundaries, take up airspace, navigate our nautical miles in the sea, in the Pacific, anywhere, and if there's going to be any challenge, we have the standing instrument, the standing, and the power of the instrument to challenge whatever process we feel that are infringing on our territorial integrity in the international criminal court of justice. And it is a big one, and it is a sign too that we are almost getting there in case we are being taken by surprise and Biafra is being recognized as expected.
let me take you to this angle, because currently the man who went to submit that letter is not too much known in the public space. Does this go to say the reason the people say that Biafra struggle is bigger than an individual? As we speak, the man Nnamdi Kanu is being incarcerated in Nigeria. The man Samarepa is under incarceration in Finland. Yet another development in this regard. You are going to talk about this, but do not forget that recently we saw another young boy in Israeli Nasset. But first of all, talk to us about this young man who has made this happen.
Okay, let me just tell you that the struggle has become a spirit. It's unstoppable. Biafra has come to be. This is a long walk to freedom. Let me just tell it. And when Nnamdi Kanu was establishing his structure, and like I said it before on one of the videos, it will take anybody 250 years to be able to break the ranks of the IPOB. That means there are so many structures, there are so many organizations, there are so many umbrellas, there are so many institutions, fora, and international bodies that are linked to the Biafra struggle. Every one of them has a role to play, irrespective of where you are. And from what we are hearing, those people you saw that address Biafrans, as a sovereign state, and this is what we have done in Hague in Netherlands, having acknowledged that finally means that people are working in making sure that with or without Nnamdi Kanu, presence, as long as he has, dedicated the instrument of duty to anybody, who feel that he is in advantage to get solidarity for Biafra, or to get people to do one or two things in regards to a Biafra struggle. Well, you can go ahead to do it, and you can see legitimately they have been doing it without anybody supervising them. And that is why I told you that the struggle has become a spirit. If you fail to move, something will move you. If you say you are not going, something will go for you. And that is it. And the doors keep on opening for them in all ramifications. So if you look at also the young man there that was also present at the Knesset parliament in Israel, that was people have, so there's nobody you can hold actually, like people will say, if you hold this person, another person will come up. If you hold this one, another person will come up, and they have not seen anything yet, and that is why they cannot actually pinpoint how these people navigate countries, continents, and begin to do extremely wonderful things, trying to get the world to the Biafran struggle and attention.
Perhaps I should answer this question. Someone once said, like America, like Israel. Another person now said, like Israel, like Biafra. I said it because recently in this conflict in the Middle East, it's very prominent that Biafrans stood firmly with Israel. This tie is unbroken.
Yes, I think anything that is against anybody that is supporting terrorism will not have the Biafra support. The Biafran nation, the Biafran kingdom, a country, and the Biafran people, the indigenous people of Biafra, does not associate with anything that has to do with terrorism, and that is the position of Biafrans all over the world. We will not support anything, and any nation that is rising, to make sure that the world becomes more safer, than what it used to be, without any threat from any radical instrument or whatever you call it, will not have the Biafran support. So we'll support, anything that will take down any form of attack, terrorism to civilization and to humanity, and that's the position of Biafra till tomorrow.
Now, looking at this situation, because certainly we know that back here at home, people will have feeling once this new filters in. What do you think will be the mood in the Biafra region as soon as this new filters in?
It's strategic. What you saw that happened in Netherlands, in the Dutch kingdom, is strategic. This is a high-tech diplomatic move, you know, and Biafra have access to 100 organizations now in the world that is under the Hague Convention. That's what it means. And also, they present our instrument of constitutionality on international relations. So that means it towards, you know, a smooth takeoff of government of Biafra, you know, with all the diplomatic presence and support involved, international relations intact. So what you see, the rising, you know, the takeoff of Biafra as a nation, I think the speed will be more that of more. Because by the time it's already very clear, and let me tell you why this movement is very significant for a lot of people that does not understand it. You know, we might not be at that level to begin to bring to you, you know, different rights and privileges as a result of what happened in Finland, you know, under Simon Eber, where Biafra was actually redeclared. Let me just put it that way. You know, Biafra has never died as a country. What they had then was a ceasefire, and with a condition that everything that had led to this war must be looked into and must be seen and to have been done justice to. But unfortunately, Nigerian government have not been able to do that. They have not been able to actually achieve that to an extent. And Philippe made it very clearly that if you fail to do justice to the children of who are holding the instrument of ceasefire, then you have questions to answer in the future. Today, about 7 countries of the world that have recognized Biafra have not denounced their recognition.
I think that is significant.
Yes, up to this moment, it means that Biafra is still existing, and that is why when you talk about redeclaration, you know, what we are waiting for now is that this means Biafra is existing, but physically, you know, we might not be a nation, but right there in the consciousness of over 85 million Biafrans all over the world, it is a nation. So what we are waiting for now, and that is why you are seeing this move. They are not going there. What they are going there, engaging this organization is for a proper smooth takeoff by a means whereby the instrument of access to other international engagement, relations, countries, neighbors, international community, you know, world powers and all that has already been handed over to Biafra at that Dutch instrument of agreement and access was signed on behalf of Biafra. So at that point now, we will say a lot of people are already jubilating. Maybe a lot of people does not understand what actually that really means, you know. So what we are actually waiting for now is by the time they are done with the certain process that are also going on with different organizations in the world, you know, but what should give you an insight or joy or perception that it is gradually coming very, very close is when you see that this high level of diplomatic engagement with organizations, international organizations, you know, in Hague alone, we have over 100. So there's that 100 that have given Biafran an instrument of, you know, recognition by allowing them to be constitutionally engaging in international relations, you know, conflict resolutions, you know, boundaries adjustment, airspace, you know, territorial waters, you know, the coverage of how many nautical miles, you know, and if there's any conflict that's going to arise as a result of that, Biafran does not need to engage anybody in war. What they need to do now is to invoke the conventions, the Hague conventions that empowers them, which that we have seen now that the instrument has been signed and access given. What it means that they can now go ahead, that area has properly been covered. So at the moment the recognition comes either by America or by Israel or whatever means they choose to do it, you know, it means that Biafra will have a smooth takeoff as a new nation.
I must say a very big thank you for your time. This is a development story certainly we hope to have you next time on this. But for now,
yes. On a better note, if you allow me to send this message to those who visited the Dutch Kingdom, I say big congratulations to them. A lot of people will not understand the logistics and the diplomatic engagement that opened the Dutch Kingdom to Biafra at the end of the day. I want to say it's a happy one, and we're expecting more from this, at least something that will give us something to cheer about. It's a great one, and kudos to Biafrans all over the world who are involved consistently, focused on this struggle to restore Biafra back as a nation. What we need, Biafra is already existing. What we need is just global recognition by world leaders.
About Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's appeal, the appeal process for a lot of people who does not understand, what is actually going on. And Mazi Nnamdi Kanu appeal is actually coming up, and we have seen that about 2 judges who supposed to be part of that appeal has been rescued, has been asked to step aside by Tinubu, including Susie Sussex Wike's wife, has also been asked to step aside, not to be part of the judges that will take up Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's appeal. So what it means is that, barely on neutral ground, and this is a sign that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's trial has been with infiltration and all that. We don't know whether it is purely a political move ahead of what Bola Ahmed Tinubu is actually planning to do 2027 by releasing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But it came as a surprise that Wike's wife and one other judge who was part of that 5-man appeal or thereabout was asked to step aside by not minding the closeness of Wike and Tinubu at the end of the day. What Tinubu did was to ask them to step aside. Possibly these are people he foresee that want to use their political connection with Wike to go further to punish Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And remember too, Omotosho also came from Wike, and maybe at this point in time, because of the international pressure and money from world leaders concerning Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Bola Ahmed Tinubu now deemed it fit that at the presentation or appearance of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu at the appeal, the matter will be automatically, unconditionally struck out. So it has already triggered a kind of jubilation, after the news actually, break out. But remember too, there was this panic about the state of health of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Sokoto, and when we learned that there was serious mix-up within the Sokoto prison, where we learned that the southern of Sokoto, the northern mafias, the caliphate themselves, used, contacted hardened criminals inside the Sokoto prison who are spying on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on daily basis, signaling that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's life might be definitely be in danger. It might be the reason why we are seeing reactions coming from different people. Move this guy away any moment from now. Move him, take him out. Because the consequences will be very unbearable if all these people that the northern criminals are using now against Nnamdi Kanu. Because when you start spying on somebody, it means, because where Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is being kept are the den of Boko Haram. Most of them has been there 100 years, suffering all manner of things. Now, they have actually contacted him, meaning that Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not actually mean well for Nnamdi Kanu in ab initio. And that is why he sent him to where we are seeing hardened criminals. Now, they have mastered the terrain. The Fulani Sokoto Caliphate, who are also targeting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, have now started using, demonic and most dangerous bandits in that Sokoto prison now to be spying on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And that triggered a certain fear in Asurok. Now, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is becoming jittery. and they needed to facilitate the process of the appeal. And those blocks, those people who are going to be a threat, or who are going to block that process now, Wike and his baggages of illegal baggages have been pushed out from the appeal process of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It was done by Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So that's why people are saying that, having gotten the information of what is happening, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is being spied on by having criminals. Is that mean somebody has sent them to start spying on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Sokoto prison? And we are also seeing another narrative. All of a sudden, the Johannes themselves that came out and said, no, grant him amnesty before it is too late. Do this, releasing. All these things are centered on what actually Bola Ahmed want to achieve 2027. Because you can see there is there's a struggle to balance his political equation between the north and the south. And for somebody who is seeking the election at the end of the day, and from what is happening now, he sees Mazi Nnamdi Kanu as an added value or a rally point, if it's actually being released, and that is going to add some level of electoral value to him. Let us see if that actually what is going to play out, and or maybe that's the reason he asked Wike's wife to move out from the being part of Nnamdi Kanu's appeal judges at the end of the day. Wike's wife and one other man, if I can remember his name, I can tell you. But I can tell you that man is also a northerner, and who wanted to be part of that appeal process has been chased out from being part of judges who are going to see to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's appeal. But that actually signaled that Bola Ahmed Tinubu might unconditionally ask Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Suddenly you just discover that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been released from Sokoto prison and granted unconditional freedom, discharged and acquitted.
What we just said now, the Sokoto youth had in big celebration. They said if Nnamdi Kanu can be, Nnamdi Kanu is the light of Africa. He said this man deserves to be released or to be taken from the Sokoto prison. Do you think that if Nnamdi Kanu is finally released, he will continue the agitation just like or go to the Sunday Go party?
Let's not be thinking towards that direction. I can tell you a few things that is going to happen. Once Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is being released, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be taken out to put IPOB in order. That is the first thing you need to do. And then make necessary contact. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will stay out for some time and trying to make sure that all the collapsing structures are being put in place, because these are the people who are going to form the Biafran government. And once that structure is being put in place, every crooked ways is being strengthened, then we can now come up. But these are the things he can quickly do, given the pressure that is coming from the international community and world leaders regarding them, recognizing Biafra as a nation. So Mazi Nnamdi Kanu can never go the way of Sunday Igbo. That can tell you that 100 times. IPOB has become one of the biggest movements around the world. There's no country you will go to, you will not see IPOB members relevant, significant, contributing. And that's why they told you that the IPOB members are the fourth most traveled